covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
The Red Bluff City Council has accepted a complaint against one of its own. We'll tell you what comes next. Charges have now been filed in the capsizing of a boat carrying migrants off the San Diego coast. We first told you about this on Monday. And why you can expect to see a large column of smoke today on the ridge above Paradise. You're watching Action News Now at noon. Happening today, a prescribed burn at Paradise Lake in Magalia. You can expect a very large firefighting presence, smoke visible on the ridge and from the valley floor. This is a time-lapse video from the Flea Mountain 2 camera when the fire first started up. The burning happening northeast of the lake, south of Skyway and Hupkudlink Road. There will be 40 acres of pile burning in the area near Green Ridge Place and Brizo Way. An additional 10 acres will be burned tomorrow on forest land directly across from the lake, east of Skyway. Now, as far as what kind of weather conditions firefighters will be seeing today, we check in with Court Klopping.
Well, some good news, Linda. In the firefighting effort, winds not too strong. That's positive. They're also shifted to become out of the south for today, which is helpful for a couple of reasons. One, it keeps humidity from ending up as low, so it leaves us not as dry for our air mass. And it also trends us down in temperatures as those south winds usher in the Delta breeze. Here's the view right now from just to the north of Whiskeytown in Shasta County, looking southeast over the valley. Mostly blue skies overhead. We've got some wispy thin clouds just brushing on by, but that's about it. And it's going to be a bright afternoon on tap. Temperatures warming up nicely, but certainly not as quickly as yesterday. Wind out of the southeast to 8 miles an hour right now in Chico, 70 degrees with sunny skies. Currently Redding, 77 degrees. South winds to 7 miles an hour with sunshine. Right now, Red Bluff, 75 degrees, sunny skies with those south winds. In Orville, 73 degrees, south wind to 14 miles an hour. That cooling influence, a little bit more substantial the further you get to the south. Checking in with your fire danger forecast on this Wednesday. High temperatures, low to mid 80s in the valley this afternoon. Winds up to 15 miles an hour, gusts maybe 25 miles an hour. Not looking too likely. Humidity above 23%, so that's around 8% higher today than yesterday. That's good news. Fire danger mostly in the low range, heading out the door for your Wednesday afternoon. Coming up in a few minutes, I'll be tracking how warm will end up in your backyard later today and when hotter temperatures are on the horizon in your forecast.
All right, thank you, Court. Caught on camera, Redding CHP chased down a man accused of pulling an AR-15 style assault rifle on an officer during a traffic stop. Happened around 4 yesterday afternoon when an officer tried to stop a car for speeding on southbound I-5 just south of Mountain Gate. Investigators say the driver jumped out of the car with an assault rifle and forced the officer to back away, then sped off, exiting at Oasis Road. Officers caught up with him again just in front of the Redding STEM Academy. A viewer sent us some video of what happened then. Take a look. You could see the suspect lying in the road, complying with officers' orders at this point. No shots were fired. We are working to learn the name of the man arrested. Well, if you ever see news like this happening while you're on the go, make sure and send in your photos and video as a citizen journalist. Just find the Citizen Journalism banner on our Action News Now homepage. We're sorry to report the body of 9-month-old Oliver Cox has been recovered from the waters of the Trinity River. He was swept away last Thursday after the family car ran off the highway 299 and into the water in the area of Big Flat. Trinity County Search and Rescue reported last night the child's body was recovered by a diver. Volunteer diver Juan Heredia posted on social media that he is the one who located little Oliver. Oliver's parents survived that crash. The Red Bluff City Council has decided to recognize 2 complaints made against Councilmember Cody Strock. A formal complaint accuses him of violating City Council code by submitting a conditional use permit fee waiver request for a community garden project under his nonprofit organization. The council requested staff come back at the next meeting with a list of actions they could take. The city attorney will look into the allegations to determine whether it is a case for law enforcement. The Chico City Council approved an emergency ordinance last night restricting the use of outdoor warming appliances. The ordinance changes existing policy to regulate outdoor warming appliances on private property and in parks. Also, outdoor barbecues on private property as well as in public places and right-of-ways. Permits will be required to use any appliances in public areas.
These ordinances will allow the city to immediately enact the necessary amendments to the Chico Municipal Code, allowing for reasonable regulations to mitigate significant fire risk before the start of the fire season, which we are quickly approaching.
Councilmember Addison Winslow attempted to adjust the ordinance to not require permits to use appliances in public places, but the motion did not pass. Reading city leaders donned cowboy hats last night to approve a new 25-year lease with the Reading Rodeo grounds. The vote at last night's council meeting came after more than a year of work by an ad hoc committee. The Rodeo Association says it can now move forward with investing in long-term improvements to the facilities.
This is a historic day. This is huge. This is a time when the whole community, with their concern and local government and different groups, have come together and created something that's going to be there for decades, and it is going to create a wonderful thing for everybody involved.
The lease also has the option of two 10-year extensions that could extend it out to 45 years. Happening today, the 31st annual Tehama County Peace Officer Memorial Ceremony. They'll be honoring and lighting memorial candles for the 4 officers who died in the line of duty in California in 2024. Assemblyman James Gallagher will be the keynote speaker. This is taking place at the High Point Assembly Church on Luther Road in Red Bluff, starting at 7. Charges were filed in federal court today for 5 people accused of human smuggling that led to the deaths of at least 3 migrants off the coast of San Diego Monday. One of the victims, a 14-year-old boy from India. His 10-year-old sister is still missing at sea. Their father is in a coma, and the mother is also hospitalized. Officers say they also located a number of other migrants who were initially missing from the boat. The Trump administration says it is preparing to begin trade talks with China for the first time since both countries implemented high reciprocal tariffs. Natalie Brand shares details from the White House.
United States of America. China very much wants to make a deal. They all do.
After weeks of stalemate, both the U.S. and Beijing say trade talks are expected to begin in the coming days.
I will be going to Switzerland, and the negotiations will begin on Saturday.
China's foreign ministry says the U.S. requested the meeting. Beijing remains opposed to the Trump administration's tariffs, increased last month to 145% on most imports from China.
We were losing $5 billion plus a day on trade. Now we're not losing that kind of money, and we'll soon be making a lot of money.
The president's Treasury Secretary has acknowledged the sky-high tariffs are not sustainable, and major U.S. ports are starting to feel the impact.
We see cargo dropping by as much as 35% next week compared to last year. And for the month in total, 17 scheduled sailings of vessels have been canceled out of more than 80.
Fewer ships in the port of Los Angeles is having ripple effects on other businesses. Trucker Antonio Morales has this message for the president.
Maybe he needs to go check out the country a little bit because he has a lot of angry truck drivers that's losing business and going out of business.
Experts also worry about supply chain disruptions, with businesses typically placing orders now for fall back to school and holiday sales. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Joining Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Switzerland for the trade talks will be the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, who graduated from Paradise High School. There will not be a new pope just yet. Less than 15 minutes ago, black smoke emerged from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, indicating no cardinal received the 2/3 majority needed to be elected to the papacy. Thousands filled St. Peter's Square today as the 133 cardinals sequestered in the chapel, casting their votes. It's incredibly rare for a new pope to be selected the first day. Pope Francis took 5 rounds of voting, Benedict 4. celebrating survivors, remembering those lost to cancer, fighting the disease, and these are all goals for the upcoming Relay for Life in Chico. A guest joins us next with details.